Welcome to the I'm In podcast, where you learn to unleash your creative genius, live a more abundant life, and change your world. And now, your host, Heather Hodges.
Today's guest brings a beautiful combination of creative gifts to the table. She started her career as a physical therapist and then transitioned into healthcare marketing. She has a gift for bridging the gap between clinical care and business growth. And when you hear her Hodges 12 Creative Genius Trifecta, it will make complete sense. She is a connector, a healer, and a communicator. And you are going to sense every one of those gifts in this conversation. Rachel Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh my gosh. It is so good to see you. So you and I go way back. We worked together years and years ago. But for our guests, I would love for you just to introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you doing these days? Where do you live? Tell us just a little bit about who you are.
I am Rachel Taylor. I work for Agape Care Group, Georgia Hospice Care, actually, giving the gift of hospice, loving one more, as we call it. And I'm a market manager in North Georgia and a mother of two and a golden doodle. I live on Lake Murray. Can't leave him out.
That's right.
He is just as important. Live on Lake Murray in South Carolina, and definitely ready for some warmer weather.
You guys are getting pounded, or have been pounded, haven't you?
Yeah, we've gotten a good bit of cold this year, so it was nice because we don't typically get that. The kids loved it, but I think we're ready for it to warm up and get ourselves on the lake and in the water. So, yeah,
Fantastic. Well, I am so glad that you said I'm in to being on the podcast and sharing a little bit more about yourself and your creativity and the work that you're doing. And I'm curious, before today and before you took the Hodges 12 Types of Creative Genius, I'm curious, did you consider yourself creative?
No, that's not
Okay.
a word that I would have used to describe myself.
Okay.
No.
It just wasn't there. Okay, so when you first saw your results, so we know that you are a connector, a healer, and a communicator, and that's just a beautiful, beautiful combination. So when you first saw your results, what was your reaction?
I definitely connected, no pun intended, but with all three of those results. I mean, those are three words I would use to describe myself. So I for sure could see each one of those. Those are things that make me tick, truly.
Yeah.
And things that I look for in myself, relationally, that I strive for in myself, in my leadership. So they weren't really surprising to me, more kind of like words of affirmation, just kind of affirming who I am and just trying to grow in areas. So I really wasn't surprised.
Yeah. So what is there one of those top three, connector, healer, communicator, that just resonates with you the most?
I mean, they all certainly do, but the most, yes. I mean, reading through them, and I've read through them multiple times, communicator, especially in what I do. But even as a mom, just a communicator, just trying to take something or things that can be very complex, things that are just hard, even if it's just life, and trying to make it understandable for people. That is part of what hospice is.
Yeah.
But it's part of being a mom, raising kids.
Yeah.
And is just helping your kids to understand what they can't. But I find myself just doing that every day, writing the narrative, painting a picture, trying to, and I think it even said this in the description, but it's not about dumbing it down, but it's just about making it relatable so that you can position yourself in a way to either give it to someone else so that they can understand it or see it just in a new light. So I definitely connected to that one a little more than the other two.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the way you said that. It's not about dumbing the communication down. It's about making it more clear and saying it in a way, communicating it in a way that anybody can understand.
For sure.
And because I know your career, I know, your background as a physical therapist, and then you went into marketing and sales in healthcare. And I kind of geek out about how your three creative gifts, your connector, your healer, your communicator, just how beautifully they come together in your work, and just that trajectory of starting out as a clinician, working at bedside. And just for the record, we think nurses are mean. PTs, oh my goodness, y'all hurt. So in an amazing, beautiful, thank you for making it hurt way. No, I tore my ACL when I was 19. And so I've done my share
that's a tough one.
Of physical therapy, and this was 30 years ago. So things have changed a lot since then. But working at bedside as a physical therapist, as a healer, working with patients, but now, connecting and communicating, and all of your three gifts combined, where do you see those three coming together and showing up in your work these days?
Oh man, I think it's really just about, it comes together when you're leading and you're building a team that is really focused on growth and culture and alignment. You're strengthening relationships with providers, but you're also strengthening relationships with families surrounding a very sensitive subject at a very vulnerable and intimate time in someone's life, an overwhelming time in someone's life. And you're trying to help families fully understand what the service has to offer. And so it's the connection piece is important, because you can't really get across anything until you connect with someone, especially at such a heightened emotional level. Healer, that healer characteristic, you want to, it gives you a tendency to want to fix things and fix people. Unfortunately, you can't always fix people, but this gives you an opportunity to help and heal their hearts in a different way by taking the last days of their journey or their loved one's journey and walking alongside them in that journey, and then helping them see that big picture and understanding what to expect, and that their life isn't ending and that their care's not ending, but we're just changing the focus of it and the quality of it so that they can have the best in those last days. And that's really how it comes together. It's really beautiful.
Oh, it really truly is. And I love that reframe, because I think so many people, when they hear about hospice, they think endings instead of quality and abundance. And the way you just reframe that is just lovely. So thanks for that. Well, tell us about, what you're working on right now. What are you building or leading that you're really excited about?
Yeah, so I am building something very meaningful. I work on building teams. And that teams that just change the way that families and providers view hospice. It's a scary word. There's a lot of urban legends and things surrounding the word hospice. And our goal is to take it from something that people fear, something that they're afraid of, to something that feels very supportive and empowering for patients and for families. And I'm just really excited about the relationships that we're building and the culture surrounding hospice that we're building. So it's really good. And just to see that and to be a part of that, that's really our mission.
Yeah. And that's a big shift to go from something that is fearful, that you're afraid of, to something that feels supportive.
Yes.
Those aren't next door neighbors. That's a big old gap to go from fear to support. How do you accomplish that? I mean, what does that pathway look like?
Well, I think you have to identify what the fear is. Everybody's fear of hospice is different. The family's fear, the patient's fear. Is it a fear of giving up? Is it actually just a fear of death itself? I think you have to be a really good listener, and you have to find out what the goals of care are, not just from the patient's side, but from the family's side as well. And you've got to be willing to meet them where they are. And that can be hard because we are excited about what we do because we know the benefit that it brings. But when you're meeting someone who is fearful or uncertain, you really have to know how to pull the reins back on that and take baby steps. And because not every patient's fears are the same, the reluctancies aren't the same. I mean, it's just not. Everybody's different, and they say sales is, you're a chameleon literally all day long. You walk into 10 different rooms, 10 different people, and you have to adapt. So, you have to learn to just really meet families where they are. And I think that you just have to be ready for that. You just have to know what they need, and how you can meet their need.
So it sounds like quite a journey, like to be able to identify that fear,
Right.
meet them where they are, and then help move them towards the perception of support and abundance and, quality of life at the end. Wow. Well, at the beginning of our conversation, I asked you before looking at the Hodges 12, did you consider yourself creative? And you're like, no, like that was not there. That was not one of the
I go to Pinterest to be creative.
I love it. Well, I'm curious, what about now? Do you consider yourself creative now that you look at it through a different lens? Is it, has it changed anything in your mind?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sure. I mean, I consider myself creative, and I definitely lean on creativity to motivate my team and to encourage them to be creative and to lean into their strengths. Because healthcare in general is not an easy thing, right? Home health, hospice, it doesn't matter. But hospice does tend to just be or be perceived as morbid and kind of dark and sad, and nobody wants to have that conversation. So we got to get creative. We got to get creative with providers. We've got to get creative with families and really learn what it takes to open them up to those conversations. And that is what determines the success of, I hate to use the word business, but the program.
Yeah.
Because you want to reach people. And by reaching them, you have to be creative and really to lean into your gifts and your strengths. And my purpose as a leader, what I thrive doing is really reaching in and bringing out people's gifts and showing them what those are and how to really use those and helping them be successful.
Yeah, I've known that about you for a long time.
Yeah.
You develop people and you help them understand some things about themselves that they may not have already known. And you help them recognize that in them and then take it to the next level. And that's, fantastic. So
It truly is my passion.
yeah, I love it. Well, I'm curious when you think about your own creativity and your own work, when do you feel the most alive in your work?
When I'm helping other people succeed, for sure. Hands down, when I see my team going out there, killing it, doing what they love and being successful at it, that's when I feel the most alive. I mean, definitely love being with families. I mean, love seeing just them being supported through their journeys, but watching people that you're coaching also go out there and have that same impact on families, but be successful doing it. I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Helping people meet their goals is just, it is what makes me tick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, that makes sense to me. One of the questions I often ask in my research and even on podcasts is, where were you the last time you had a creative idea? Because our environments really impact our creative problem solving, our creative thinking, the way we are able to approach challenges. So I'm curious, for you, where is that? What conditions or what environments help you do your best creative work?
well, it has to be an environment that you feel safe, or I feel safe, because it's about me, I guess, to fail. Because fear can sometimes get in the way of that. And that's really important to me. My mind starts to race, especially if there's, we have a challenging month, or if there's a challenge ahead, or if there's, something that's out of the norm, maybe there's a family that we got to go talk to that's had 3 other hospices, speak to them. They just can't make up their mind. So I think it's got to be an environment where there is comfort to fail, to make a mistake. I think that's where I can be the most creative. Otherwise, that fear of failure is very limiting for me. And I think it's limiting for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So as a leader, I try to make sure that I create an environment where there's not, fear of punishment for mistakes or, anything like that, because I think it just puts a cap on it. And people will only go so far. They just won't maximize their potential. And so I think that's just really important.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Creativity and failure go hand in hand. We are not going to have creative solutions to our hardest problems if we can't fail. Because innovation doesn't come out perfectly polished. Like we have to iterate and you have to try and fail and learn from that failure before we can get there. And if we don't have that environment where we have the permission to fail and learn from it, we're never going to have creative solutions. We're never going to have creative ideas because everybody's going to be freaking afraid to make a mistake and to take any kind of creative risk. Yeah. Thanks for that. So, so has there been a time when you had to hold back your creativity,
Mm-hmm.
and what happened?
I think you start to, I felt disconnected from my purpose, from what I was really trying to do. Just misaligned, really. Restless, probably a little ornery.
Not
If I'm
Rachel.
being candid.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can see it. It's close enough to touch, right? But you didn't get it, or you can't. It's like it's right there. Because for whatever reason in that moment, you don't feel free to do it. It's a bad feeling. And it's not always the same reason. So, I mean, I can think of a number of times where that may have happened in a number of positions, but I think it's just, it's a very frustrating place to be. And I think it's like one of those things you just replay over and over and over, especially if it ends up not in your favor anyway. But I think there's opportunity for growth in those as well, because and learning to say, okay,
There
the
you
next
go.
time,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going to do.
There you go. Yeah. What you're describing, that just inability to move, and feeling a little ornery and stuck. I call it swimming in jello. Like it just feels like you're going blah, blah, and you're not getting anywhere. And it's just every motion is so hard, and it like you feel like you're not going to go anywhere fast, and that kills our creativity. And it just, I mean, it's just soul crushing in a lot of ways, isn't it?
It's like the dreams you have, where in your dream you're like running fast, like but it's like you're not. You're like moving slow.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate that. I hate that feeling.
It's exactly like that.
Like your legs feel like they weigh a ton each.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, when we think about, I'm glad we're talking about this, because when we think about creativity, which is just the production of novel and useful ideas to solve problems, and innovation is implementing those ideas. And I think a lot of us, especially in healthcare, we're all about innovation, but we get a little skeptical of creativity. Like, let's not get too creative, but we all want that innovation. So from your experience and from the work that you've done in your career, what kills innovation before it even has a chance to take root?
Well, here's the thing, creativity isn't extra, right? It's how you multiply impact. So I think when you hold it back, you stay safe. I think when you release it, you build. And that's where innovation comes in, right? You build with innovation. So you kill that impact when there's a fear of failure. And I don't even think that goes away when you level up. I think it just kind of like changes shape. And so, but I also don't think that the goal is to eliminate fear. I don't think that. I think you just learn to move with it.
So how do you move with it? How do you push past fear in your work?
Well, I think you have to, like I said earlier, you got to figure out what you're afraid of first. Like fear, like failure is vague. So what are you afraid of? Right? Yeah. I mean, is it looking incompetent? Is it, I mean, we've talked about what the families could be afraid of, but what are you afraid of, right? Are you afraid of losing credibility? Are you afraid of not meeting your numbers? Like, what are you afraid of? And then I think you have to separate that, from the outcome, like what you're identifying with from the outcome. Because failure is not an event, right? And then, and I think high performers, I do think that they often struggle with this more than we probably know that they do, because they're used to winning, you know, they get used to that. And so, but growth requires us to step outside of our comfort zones. It requires to do things differently from time to time for you to continue to build up. And so, and I know I have the words, I'm just thinking of how to put them, but I think you have to kind of they have to reframe their mindset instead of, I failed. I think they have to start using verbiage like, I grew. Okay, this gives me information too. And build confidence in those things. Again, we as leaders have to set the stage for that too, though. We have to create an open environment for that to happen. And I think that we have to look back at our track record or their track record. And I think that they need reminders of that.
Yeah.
Here's where you've grown before. Look at what you've done. So if you've done this, let's look at this that you've navigated here, the conflict you've navigated. We can do this now. I used to say this just actually came to my mind, but I used to say all the time, you know, people tend to respond better. I feel like I've said this to you before. When you ask more of people, I feel like they do respond better if you can acknowledge what they've done first. Because people have a hard time giving more and being innovative, being creative, if they feel like all you want to do is take as a leader. But I think if you can sit down and you can really go back and talk about what they've done, where they've been, where they started, it's a reminder to them too. They're like, oh yeah, you know, okay,
I am awesome.
Yeah. Okay. It reminds them of what all they've accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. So you take a retrospective, like here's where you were, here's what you've done already, here's what you've overcome. And so this obstacle in front of us is nothing compared to where you've been. Like, or yes, you can accomplish this too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one more step on the journey. Right. I love those reframes because we have to, I think so many of us get in our head and we argue for our limitations and we look around and we think, oh no, I'm sinking or I'm going to fail. Instead of, like you said, I'm learning something here. Or even just to acknowledge, hey, dude, I totally screwed up. If I had that to do over again, here's what I would do.
Right.
And that does not give the failure any, kind of weight or, it doesn't minimize it, but it puts you more in control of what's next. And
you're essentially taking it and you're anchoring that to their purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. One of the things you said a while ago, I wrote it down, Rachel.
Oh.
I was taking notes. You said, creativity isn't extra. It's how you multiply impact.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Well said. Well, I'm curious, when we think about hospice or marketing, a lot of people may not connect creativity to that, but what role does creativity play in your industry that people might not expect?
Ooh, a lot. I mean,
yeah.
Just because it got me thinking, reading over all of the, my traits, but first and foremost, personalizing the end of life experience. That's a big one. Because like we were talking about earlier, just people are scared. Families are scared. You can have 98-year-old grandmother who has lived a great life. And a lot of times, 9 out of 10, they're at peace with it, right? They're ready. She's like, I am good. I'm ready to, y'all have I'm good to go, right? But everybody around her isn't. And so, hospice is not a one size fits all. It's not. And I think that creativity allows our team, and in our team, I mean us, the nurses, the chaplain, the whole team, to really honor who the patient is and not what we're seeing them for, not their diagnosis, but who they are. And, whether it's turning a room into a mini beach for somebody, or coordinating a wedding so a couple can get married one last time, or creating, themed birthdays, or something as simple as just the CNA dancing and singing, with a patient that has dementia. I actually saw a video the other day, and this was not our company, although I wish it was, but I sent it to several of our clinicians because it was a CNA that was working with a patient that had dementia, and the patient swore she saw somebody there. So the CNA then starts acting like she's fighting with the person, and the person grabs her hair, and it was brilliant because it honored what the patient, it validated the patient. She laughed. She was like, get him. Yeah. And these are last days, why not give her that? But brilliant example of creativity, know, because that's all it took to bring a smile to that patient's face. And I think, pain and symptom management, it's not always a linear thing because it's not the same for every patient. Whether it's, adjusting medications or routines, or it's just bringing comfort where a standard approach doesn't fully work. It might just be repositioning a patient, taking the extra time to just, again, listen and just ask, is there anything else I can do for you today? Asking the family, is there something we can do for you? Because hospice isn't just for the patient.
Right.
It is for the family as well.
Yeah.
So many things.
Yeah.
Just so
I
many
love
ways.
that. I love that. The way hospice care can be creative. Some of those stories that like what you just told me, they just kill me. I just love it. Like I'm undone when I hear them about what clinicians what links they will go to help patients in those last days. It's just phenomenal. I love that so much. Well, we've already talked about a little bit about your leadership style and how you build teams and helping your team recognize, past successes so that they can have future success, and using their creativity in the past to overcome obstacles. We've talked a little bit about fear, but is there anything else that you would add to that about how you nurture creativity in the people on your team?
Yeah. First and foremost, I know I've said it, but I'll say it again. You have to make it safe to try. I tell my team this all the time. I feel like creativity dies in environments where mistakes are punished. So I think, leaving an open door. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust. But let's try it. If my team knows that they will not be embarrassed or blamed, they offer ideas.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really important. Asking questions, sometimes better questions, myself, even if something as simple as, what's a better way we could approach this? Or what would make this more impactful? If there's no barriers, what would you do? Sometimes getting it out of them that way. If you didn't have B, then what would you do? And then something that I'm really big on is celebrating initiatives, not just outcomes. Celebrate them all the way through, because every step is a win. Every step in the right direction is a win. And they need to know that, because they will continue to be encouraged to work hard, to be loyal, but they'll trust you. And I think that that's huge. I think when you celebrate initiative, I think people will stretch for you. And if you only celebrate numbers, then people protect themselves. I really believe that. You have to celebrate the person.
Absolutely. I love it. Then we know that from our own experience, but there's so much research on that as well. Like every single time it's about that praise and recognition, just the thank you, celebrating ideas and individual people. Yeah. Thanks for that.
For sure.
Well, Rachel, this has just been a fun conversation. But before I let you go, Percy, my research penguin, has been over here knocking at the door, wanting to know why he can't come in and join the conversation. So I'm going to let him in. Percy, are you there? Come on in. All right, Percy, I know you've got a couple questions okay, settle down, Percy. All right, Percy has a couple of questions for you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the first question, Percy, this is a sweet one. This comes from a previous guest.
Okay.
When you were a little kid, what did you think you would be when you grew up?
Oh my gosh. Lots of things. Probably America's Next Top Model.
Awesome. I can see that.
I'm pretty sure I always knew I would be in healthcare, to be honest. But I always told my mom I would be a doctor. Like, I always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
But I'm in healthcare and I'm helping.
Well, you're
people.
a DPT, so you're a doctor.
I mean, it's just not the same, but yeah.
Not a medical doctor, yeah. But you always knew that healthcare was probably where you would end up.
Sure.
Interesting.
For sure.
Awesome. That's sweet. Well, Percy's second question is, what question would you like to ask a future guest?
What makes you tick? I love to know that about people. What makes you tick? What wakes you up in the morning? What makes you want to go and want to do? I'm always interested to see what people's answer is to that.
Yeah, I love that. That is a great question. Thank you for
I
that.
ask all my teams that too. I love to know that.
Awesome.
What motivates them?
That tells you a lot about who they are and their values, what drives them, obviously.
Sure.
So, no, that's a great leadership question for all of us. So, awesome. Well, Rachel, thank you for this. Where can our listeners find you?
I am at Georgia Hospice Care, aka Agape Care Group.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And do you have a LinkedIn where people could get a hold of you?
I do have a LinkedIn. Heather, I do not know the actual address, but I do have a LinkedIn.
Okay, I can put that link in the episode notes, but also the Agape Care. So, Rachel, thank you so much for saying I'm in and joining us on this conversation today.
Thank you for having me. You've been a huge part of my growth and development, and I hope everyone that listens to your podcast and follows you knows just how impactful you've been in the lives of so many of us, and I appreciate you. It was an honor to be on this with you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you to our guests for joining us. And if you haven't followed this podcast yet, please hit that follow button and you will be the first to know when a new episode drops. And I would love it if you would leave a review. It helps more people find us and join the conversation. And if you want to discover your own creative genius trifecta, please follow the link in the episode notes. The assessment takes about 10 minutes and your results will be emailed to you immediately. So until next time, keep saying I'm in to creativity and bold thinking, transformational growth, and meaningful conversations. May you be wildly creative in your life and leadership. I'll see you soon.